Demons have regeneration, special powers, near immortality, and Michael Jackson. But what do the Demon Slayers have? Breathing. They kind of breathe different, I guess.
Okay.
What I mean is that other than the basic human functions, they have really OP swords. These are what can make or break a Demon Slayer in battle, as without one, they're worthless.
Oh, that was uncalled for.
But demons aren't even your biggest worry, because if you don't keep your sword safe, you'll end up with letters like these from the swordsmith who made it. And because of this, Tanjiro always takes the utmost care with oh, well, I'm sure he learned his lesson. It won't happen again. Wow, this guy just never learned. Okay, I get it. It's about time Tanjiro got his ultimate final weapon. To get this, Tanjiro has to journey to the west. Or east. Maybe south? I don't really know, to be honest. No one knows where the Swordsmith village is. It's a mysterious place where the Demon Slayer swords are forged by special swordsmiths like Haganezaka from Nichiren Metal. But the biggest secret of this village is that within it lies the strongest weapon in all of Demon Slayer. This was the only thing in existence to have left a scar on the immortal being Kibutsuji Muzan. We are talking about none other than the strongest Demon Slayer, Yoriichi's very own Crimson Bright Red Blade. As I said, the village's location is kept secret to protect it and the swordsmiths, as they are the most crucial element in the fight against Muzan. There's no saying how or when its location could get leaked. Thus, the only way to get to the swordsmith village is if a Kusagai crow leads someone to it. On top of that, the Demon Slayer has to be blindfolded and wear nose plugs while traveling on piggyback via multiple kakushi. But there's more. Just like their village, even its residents are super serious about holding their identities secret. That's why they wear those creepy ass masks. These Shotoko masks keep them from being tracked by physical appearance. Moreover, they also stay alert of being tailed back to the village not to risk anyone else. This legendary village full of talented swordsmiths has no confirmed origin date, but it was stated that the village has existed more than 300 years prior to the story's current events. Every Nichiren blade is forged here out of a material found only at the very peak of Sunlight Mountain, absorbing direct energy from the one thing that can kill demons, the sun. Something I'm sure you can all relate to. Now this leads us to Tanjiro visiting the Swordsmith village, where things are about to get spicy. No, not that. Tanjiro ran into not one, but two eccentric Hashiras this time. Muichiro, the Mist Hashira, and Mitsuri, the Love Hashira, who is very important to Tanjiro for two big reasons. For the second time, no, I said not that. That's because not only does she wish good luck to Tanjiro and Nezuko, Mitsuri also offers up a crucial piece of information to it. She tells him about a secret weapon belonging to the Swordsmith village that could make him more powerful. And since Tanjiro's a shonen protagonist, he's always on the lookout for ways to get stronger. Thus, he set out in search for this mystical weapon, all to run into Muichiro. Muichiro was arguing with Katetsu, a young swordsmith from the village, in a bid to obtain the key to Yoriichi Type Zero. This is a mechanical battle doll created during the Sengoku era. But what's special about it is that it was made on the basis of a real-life person, the creator of the sun-breathing style and the greatest demon slayer in history, Yoriichi Tsukigini. Yes, bearing the legendary demon slayer's appearance, Type Zero was created to honor him by Katetsu's ancestors to train demon slayers. It has 6 arms and hands that each hold a katana because 2 arms were not even close to being able to replicate the finesse and movements of Yoriichi himself. With this, Type Zero had a total of 108 attack moves, making it greatly surpass the strength of demon slayers, let alone average humans. In fact, the 6 arms, along with the position of their joint connection to the torso, is a reference to the Asuras, a race of of supernatural demonic deities in Buddhism. Moreover, the katanas that the doll wields are also a hint towards the weaponry that they possess for warfare against the devas, or the gods. What's more is that the doll was also fitted with a system like a Yosegi Zaiku puzzle box. This allowed swordsmen to tweak Type Zero's actions by the number of times they would turn its wrist and fingers. This was designed to shift the movements of the doll to fully exploit the weakness of swordsmen for the most effective combat training. However, when Kotetsu didn't give him the key, Muichiro ended up slapping it. This infuriated Tanjiro, who intervenes to stop the HASHIRA, but is knocked out with ease. Now, what was all this chaos about? It's when Tanjiro regains his consciousness that he finds out that the Yoriichi Type Zero is the weapon Mitsuri told him to find all along. With its superior battle ability, Type Zero pushes people into a corner, forcing them to overcome their limits and become much stronger. But over centuries of use, the doll has deteriorated due to wear and tear, making it far weaker than it once was. Even Muichiro, training with it after Kotetsu handed the key over to him, ended up breaking its left shoulder armor and one of its right arms. However, only the boy Kotetsu knew this mechanism well, being passed down from his family, thus the doll was only effective with input from its owner. Since Kotetsu did not reveal this to Muichiro, he wasted his time training with an unoptimized doll and was able to break it down within just a few minutes. All this truly makes Yoriichi Type Zero a one-of-a-kind divine weapon, which is quite fitting as even Yoriichi was said to be blessed by the heavens as well. But despite all the erosion, it had not broken down even once, and according to Kotetsu, it was made of a technology they couldn't replicate. This meant that once Type Zero was actually fully broken down, nobody could fix it. However, Kotetsu managed to fix up the minor damage Muichiro caused so that Tanjiro could use this doll to train, and although it now had one less arm with fewer moves, Tanjiro found it impossible to face up against. And so, to ensure Tanjiro surpasses Muichiro, Kotetsu decides to train and instruct him so that he can beat the doll at its full capacity. Although Kotetsu had impressive powers of analysis, he had no skill in teaching swordsmanship. Thus, out of pure ignorance, his methods of training Tanjiro was inhumane torture. If Tanjiro didn't do as he was told, he would be denied food and water, something that would have killed him after 3 days if it wasn't for rain. This torturous training method had pushed Tanjiro onto the verge of death. But it was all worthwhile, as in the midst of battle against the Type Zero doll, Tanjiro unlocked a new power. He was able to grasp the full potential of his naturally keen ability to smell. It gave him a pseudo-precognitive perception that allowed him to sense what moves the Yoriichi doll, or any enemy for that matter, would do next, honing his senses to the peak. With this new skill, Tanjiro for the first time was finally able to land an attack on the doll. Though his body and reflexes were still immature, this new ability became a powerful weapon, making his movements comparable to a HASHIRA. Now, after eating and resting, Tanjiro resumed his training to hone his newfound power and hence discovered the true secret of this doll. When he attacked the Type Zero with no hesitation, going all out, Tanjiro's sword broke again. But this sacrifice gave him the ultimate weapon which would change the destiny for the Demon Slayer Corps forever. Because with Tanjiro's sword-breaking attack, the doll fell apart only to unveil a 300-year-old katana hidden within its body. After Tanjiro's swordsmith Hagenezaka sharpened it, he stated that the steel of the sword was of very good quality, implying that the previous user was a great swordsman. And you don't need me to tell you that that's clearly the case, because this belonged to the man who inspired the doll himself, Yoriichi. Although it was another black Nichiren sword like Tanjiro's own, he had commented that the depth of black was a whole different level, telling us just how skilled Yoriichi was. Black Nichiren blades are the most mysterious and infamous in Demon Slayer, as they are a rare blade that represents the sun, foreshadowing the fact that Tanjiro was inherently a sun-breathing user from the start, even if he hadn't realized it yet. Moreover, it was said that Demon Slayers who wielded a black Nichiren sword did not have the fortune to live a long life. This is because ever since Yoriichi had induced the fear of sun-breathing users in Muzan, he and Kokoshibo made sure to slaughter every single one of them. And as these sun-breathing users had a black Nichiren sword, their sadly short lifespan got linked to the colour of the blade over time as the sun-breathing style went extinct. Thus, Tanjiro having a black Nichiren sword was ironic and a hint at how he will defy the odds stacked up against him, much like Yoriichi himself did by living for much longer than expected despite having a Demon Slayer mark. Meaning that Tanjiro had certainly chanced upon an incredible weapon in accordance with his destiny, because Yoriichi was the strongest sun-breathing user and, well, his sword was no different. After constant use, Yoriichi had refined his black blade into its strongest form by turning it bright red during his battles. This meant he was strengthening the metal with heat with every use through a process called precipitation hardening. Tanjiro using sun breathing may have broken his other swords, but with Yoriichi's, that was no longer an issue, meaning he could now perform new techniques much better. Oh yeah, this sword was literally built different. It was the first blade to have reached the power of the sun itself, turning into crimson, where later on in the series it was able to inspire the other Demon Slayers to change the colour of theirs. Yoriichi for the first time in history was able to turn his black sword into crimson red at will. This was linked to his unique blessing of the Demon Slayer mark when he was born. The mark not only gives the user the ability to peer into the transparent world, but also is attributed with a high heart rate of over 200 beats per minute. This raises the body temperature to over 39 degrees Celsius, which is usually fatal to ordinary humans. However, by using good breathing techniques, Demon Slayers can survive maintaining the mark. Because, I mean, yeah, why not? It makes sense, right? All in all, the raised body temperature can be transferred to the blade, which turns it into a bright red colour. This literally boosts the properties of the Nichiren metal to exhibit near sun energy. Unlike other blades, the bright red ones can bypass the healing factor of the demons and even leave permanent damage on a cellular level to Muzan himself, as seen when Yoriichi slices him up into 1,000 little pieces. The next time this bright red blade makes its debut is when Nezuko, using her demon blood technique, lit Tanjiro's blade on fire. His blade, being black, has the highest probability of turning into its crimson peak. This is due to black being able to absorb heat much more efficiently than any other colour. There's also the fact that, though immature, Tanjiro always had a Demon Slayer mark, which solidified him having the ability to recreate the most powerful weapon. Later, with Yoriichi's blade, Tanjiro was able to turn it bright red all on his own without Nezuko's help, allowing him to deal significant damage to Muzan. But none of this would have happened if Tanjiro had not inherited the sun-breathing technique, which effectively gave him the Demon Slayer mark. This then resonated with other Demon Slayers around him, giving them the key to the strongest weapon in the series, the crimson bright red Nichiren blade. With their own mark, Morichiro and Obanai managed to obtain their own, whereas the other Hashira recreated the extensive heat needed in turning their blades crimson by bashing the weapons into each other, as seen by Saname, Gyu, and Gyome. But all in all, after reforging Yoriichi's blade and adding Rengoku's hilt to it, Tanjiro would go on to carry both their legacies and accomplish the goal of killing Muzan. It's also worth noting that this blade has the word Metsu, meaning slay, engraved on it as a message from the original Swordsmith that it was intended to slay all demons. And with Muzan dead, this also came into fruition. Well, it kinda did anyway. Now, if you want to experience more peak fiction and learn about how Tanjiro mastered sun breathing, then watch this video on your screen right now.